Hey, and a good evening. Meteorologist Chris Smith here in the Panhandle Weather Studios. One day was too many for Dan, so we have sent him back across the bridge over Panama City to his house to keep us posted on the weather. I don't know about you, but I'm exhausted.
Hold on. There we go. I'll turn my mic on before I complain. It's been a day. It has been a long day.
Yeah, it's
as evidenced by the light's not doing me any favors. I don't think I look this red, but I do look pretty red.
It was we started off. We had a sales call at 9, and then we went over to the hospital to start the camera process, and then I went to a school. Dan went back to the hospital. I came back to the hospital, and then we got ready for the show. So if we had a kind of a lack of updates today on social media, that is why. At least it's been a pretty quiet day, though.
We forgot too. I got a new battery for my car, swapped that out, and I fixed my headlights. So now I can go back to Chris's house more often without worrying about getting a ticket driving home.
Oh, yeah. So what was it? Was it was it related to the battery?
Yeah, it was a voltage issue, so it's all good.
So the battery was kind of hovering, just it was working, but not enough to. Oh.
Yep.
Well, that's fantastic, because I know you spent a lot of time and had a lot of consternation over how that was going to get fixed. So.
And I spent a lot of money on parts that weren't needed, so that's probably even more annoying. But it works, and that is what matters. And that's kind of the theme for today, Chris, because this works now too, which is the first of many across the Panhandle. This is a live view from Panama City on Ascension Sacred Heart at the hospital there, looking down towards the pass. You can see St. Andrews State Park in the center of the screen. You've got Shell Island off to the left side of the screen, and then downtown Panama City right there in front of the water. You can see the bay too, Chris. I am just so thrilled with this camera. And the only problem for us tonight is that we haven't quite got the login information to steer the camera. I'd love to show you the 360-degree view of what this camera has to offer. When we get into summertime, a great view of sea breeze thunderstorms over the bay. You'll be able to see the Hathaway Bridge. It is a really cool shot.
Yeah, you'll be able to see the water tower that's all painted in Panama City from up there. But yeah, I think it's one of those things that they want to swipe the credit card and make sure it's good before they give us the login credentials for the camera.
Well, we need a few more sales calls before we don't have to worry about that, but we'll keep grinding away.
Yes, but thanks to the folks at Ascension Sacred Heart for giving us a little bit of roof space there. But that's one of the highest points in Panama City, and I think will give us kind of a nice panorama, not just of towards the water, but also you'll still have a little bit of a view northward to maybe capture some of those towering cumulus clouds with those summertime thunderstorms. Good evening to
and with the movement. Oh, sorry.
No.
I was going to say with the movement there, I shouted out all the places to the west that we could see, but all the way to Tyndall Air Force Base and down through Callaway and Parker and Springfield, we'll have at least a view of what's happening with the clouds above it. You're not going to be able to make out your house necessarily, but as thunderstorms move through in any spot here within probably a 8 or so mile radius, Chris will be able to show off what's happening.
Yeah, and you'll be able to see if you look at the front of the hospital, they have the sign around the top, and to the left of that, if you're facing the hospital, there's a decorative pole and this thing or whatever. That's the camera right up there. You can see it.
Super cool.
Yes.
But that's probably enough of our excitement. We'll get into some weather. We've got some things happening, at least tonight, Chris. I saw a few showers rumbling through South Alabama. That would be nice to see for our friends up along I-10 to maybe get a little appetizer before Sunday, which Sunday honestly looks like a pretty good chance of rain. Yeah. Probabilities from the national blend of models is about a 90% chance that we all get above an inch of rainfall, and there certainly will be pockets that get 2, maybe 2.5 inches of rain, which will be very much needed and fantastic to see.
Yes, we'll get to that rainfall here in just a minute. We had a little bit of fog this morning. It wasn't much, but there was a little bit of fog. You can definitely see the visibility dropped over onto Panama City Beach, looking out toward the pier. You could still make it out there, but we still saw plenty of sunshine. And Dan, the Yoopers in the wild. I don't think I've ever seen a picture of the Yoopers.
It's a face reveal for the Yoopers.
I know.
It's fantastic.
So, well, you know, if they're Yoopers, like today was like 120 degrees outside for them. So, of course, they would be out on the beach. But, you know, it was like a very comfortable day today on the water.
They probably got as much sunburn as me.
Oh. Yeah, so like basically like the top of the hospital is like all white, you know, and like it was like pretty much I think like what it's like skiing in Colorado where you get like the albedo of the snow, how it bounces up on you, you can get like a sunburn. That's pretty much the top of the hospital. David Wesley over into Panama City. Christy capturing the sunset this evening. David Wesley there capturing a little bit of the sunset as well. We appreciate the photos. You can submit yours in the Panhandle Weather app. Now, let's talk a little bit about what's going on outside right now. This is a look over into Destin. You can see a little bit of haze there on the lens of the camera there. A little bit of extra moisture on the lens. We'll see if someone can't get up there with a squeegee. Over into downtown Panama City, looking across the bay. Not too much of a ripple on the water this evening. Winds are fairly light. Temperature 65, dew point of 63, 62 over into Panama City Beach. South wind at 9, so our winds are still out of the south. And that's bringing in the moisture from the Gulf. Now, eventually later on this evening, that wind will shift out of the north while you're sleeping, and that will begin to bring in some slightly drier air across northwest Florida. And there's Sharky's, and you can tell it's pretty comfortable because I got a whole bunch of tables that are full right now with a temperature of 65 degrees. At this moment. Live Doppler radar as we look across northwest Florida. We have showers moving in from the northwest to the south and east. I posted on social media a little while ago. I really won't worry too much about them. Not that it's not going to rain, but like up into, well, over into Geneva County. We could see northern Holmes County, Graceville, maybe over towards Malone as these showers move southeast, but they are kind of weakening. There's no lightning in them, nothing to really stress too much about. Some heavier showers over into Santa Rosa County. Those are about ready to move into the Milton area, crossing Interstate 10. But again, similar story there. Nothing in the way of any lightning. So I think this is just going to be just a little spritz of rainfall for a brief period of time, and then everything should clear out. You can see the showers did make their way through Jay and Century, and then they're probably about another 15-20 minutes away from moving into Milton. Across the southeast, we widen out the picture and you see this is very much just kind of a broken line of showers. Front is located just kind of north in this area, and it's just going to push to the south and bring in that cooler air mass as we head into tomorrow. And you'll notice tomorrow will be a few degrees cooler than what it was today, because some of us today hit 80, believe it or not. 80 in Milton, 80 in Bonifay. It was 80 in Crestview, 78 Northwest Beaches, water cooling off at the coastline. But even there, you got into the low to mid 70s this afternoon. Temperatures right now currently into the 60s and 70s. We are several degrees warmer than what we were just 24 hours ago. Again, that southerly wind bringing in the moisture. And you see up here to our north, right now we have southwesterly winds area wide. And then into southern Alabama, that's where the winds turn westerly. And then to the north there, the winds turn northwesterly. And to talk about that little bit of a cool down and the drop in humidity and what that means for us over the next few days, we go to meteorologist Dan Nyman.
Yep, not a whole lot as far as cooler weather to get worked up about here, but certainly drier air going to settle back in as we see just a slight decrease in temperatures as far as high temperatures, especially heading into tomorrow afternoon. You'll see tonight, or at least you might feel tomorrow morning, that wind shift has happened. We'll get once again an offshore wind, 5 to 10 miles per hour, so nothing super impressive, but enough to reinforce things as far as, you know, resetting. Things are getting a little out of hand there with temperatures up near 80 degrees. That's pretty warm for the time of year, although a welcome change given the cooler weather of weeks past. Low temperatures for tomorrow, for example, you've got mid-50s stretching around many inland areas, a little warmer towards the coast, kind of capped right where the water temperatures are in through the upper 50s. There you see Gulf breeze, for example, about 57 tomorrow morning. You'll see Munson dropping down to about 53. Get in through South Walton, Bay County, you'll find 55, 56, 57 towards the coast, and then perhaps a little closer towards the lower 50s as you get up towards Fountain or Bluntstown. Move further to the south and east, the Forgotten Coast staying pretty comfortable for tomorrow morning. Perhaps some patchy fog possible before the front passes through, so the first half of the night maybe. Then as the front moves through and the wind shift, you probably won't have that to deal with tomorrow morning. Temperatures down to about 52, 51 degrees through Jackson County. There's Tallahassee at 54 degrees, and you'll find about 53 over towards Bonifay, Alfred. You see Vernon there, 54 degrees. A pretty nice way to get the morning started. Futurecast showing just a few of those blips as the showers move towards the south and east, perhaps clipping parts of Jackson County and maybe getting through parts of Okaloosa and the western Panhandle as we get through the evening hours tonight. Clouds linger as you get in towards tomorrow morning, but will slowly open up to more of a mix of sun and clouds. And you'll see here by tomorrow night just a few passing clouds across the landmass in the Panhandle, a few more clouds offshore, but we'll gradually work our way back towards clearing skies, at least for Thursday night into Friday. Now, notice there Friday, it almost looked like the model was pushing a sea breeze through. I think we'll still see some clouds moving in and about parts of the Panhandle. Not necessarily expecting much by way of rain chances from that sea breeze that kind of popped up there on the modeling, Chris. But of course, we kind of have seen at least a 5 to 10% chance of a shower as you get through the back half of the week. Maybe we squeeze one out. I'm not optimistic. It really is this Sunday that we'll be waiting for the arrival of beneficial rainfall. Not a drought buster, but beneficial rainfall. We certainly could use a couple of inches of rain.
Yeah, I think that sea breeze is going to be more indicative of the wind shift and the moisture return process that will go on as we head starting later Friday into Saturday, and that feeds into our Sunday weather maker, which will bring us hopefully some beneficial rainfall, not a drought buster. But we'll talk more about that coming up for John, who just asked about it in the chat, in just a moment.
Find something you love with great deals this month at Panama City Toyota. Get 1.99% APR on a new Camry, rated best midsize car by Kelley Blue Book. Plus, 90 days until you make your first payment. Get 2.49% APR on the Rocket Tacoma, plus 90 days until your first payment. And get 2.49% APR on the powerful Tundra, plus 90 days until your first payment. Come check out our showroom or browse online at Panama City Toyota.
Your piece of land demands the very best equipment. Kubota equipment. The #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S. with professional grade mowers, versatile sidekick utility vehicles, and compact tractors that get it done right. All backed by unmatched dealer support. Talk to your dealer today to schedule a demo.
When it comes to building, local experience matters. At Mid-South Lumber, our team knows the job, and we'll help you get it right the first time. From weekend DIY projects to full custom builds, you'll get solid materials, fair prices, and service you won't find at a big box store. That's why we're the biggest little lumber yard in Panama City. Mid-South Lumber. Shop local. Build with confidence. Let's quote your next project today.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Now, from your trusted team of meteorologists at Panhandle Weather, this is your evening forecast update.
And a good evening. I'm meteorologist Chris Smith here in the Panhandle Weather Studios. There's Dan.
Yep, it worked. I'm back up on screen too. So there's a nice little convenience feature. You don't have to do the 2-button press anymore. We both came back and we're ready to talk, I think, more about this weekend, Chris, as there have been a lot of hopes and dreams for rainfall. It looks like we're going to get it. And then we have to, of course, talk about some of the nuance as well as far as thunderstorm chances and maybe expectations for that. I saw in the latest forecast discussion, the National Weather Service was even talking about, at least the wind profile is supportive of some stronger thunderstorms, but we are going to struggle in a few key ingredients, which means that it's going to be one of those slow burn sort of Sundays where you're keeping a close eye on the radar, but the vast majority of the Panhandle won't experience any sort of inclement weather as far as strong thunderstorms or perhaps a severe thunderstorm is concerned.
Yeah, I mean, we'll be staying close. Keep it close to the radar as the storms move through, but we're not necessarily eyeing it as like, oh, we need to watch these the entire way through. We'll keep an eye on it. We got a few days to kind of fine tune the forecast.
To put it simply, I probably get to get out of brunch this weekend.
Yes.
I think we'll be able to say, Sunday, I'm busy. We got to watch the radar.
Yeah, that's the thing that we have to, like, it's the same deal with us. Like, Charlie has like a little basketball coaching after church on Sunday, and it's like, you might need to handle that, honey, because we don't get out of basketball until like afternoon, like 12 o'clock. So it's like, but that's the way it is. So it'll be okay. But I think chances are better than not that it'll be a good rain and not necessarily severe weather, but just in case.
Yeah, we'll definitely be keeping an eye on it as we've been keeping an eye on the radar even a little bit tonight, although rain's not really a part of what's happening across the Panhandle, Chris, in the next few days at least.
No, we're going to be seeing a few isolated showers this evening. It turns a teeny bit cooler as you head through the overnight hours tonight into tomorrow morning. When I say a teeny bit, we're 2 to 3 degrees probably compared to where we were this morning. Thursday and Friday will be sunnier, especially Thursday afternoon into Friday, and still pretty nice, and it'll actually be pretty comfortable. And then this weekend, storms are likely on Sunday, but it's going to be far from a washout of a weekend. All of Saturday, I think, for the most part, will be good, and a decent chunk of Sunday potentially will be good. And we'll get more into that, talking about, say, like the Seaside Half Marathon. That's going to be going on Sunday morning, because while things are a little precarious, there's definitely a pathway to a chunk of the day that ends up being okay. So as we look out over Panama City Beach, our friends there at Sharky's looking good out over across the water. We have a nice orange hue to the sky across our area. And then over into the port, 66 degrees, but look at the dew point is 65. Southwest winds at 9 miles an hour. And that just tells you that there's a lot of moisture out there. You feel it when you step outside. Now, tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, that feel won't be quite as, it's not oppressive right now, but you can kind of feel the moisture. It won't be as noticeable Thursday into Friday. As we look at live Doppler radar, we talked about we have the showers moving northwest to the south and east. You see those showers moving through Enterprise, Sampson, Geneva County, over towards Hartford. Now we'll keep an eye on these to see if how they hold together to maybe impact northern parts like Esto, Graceville, Malone, Greenwood. We'll just kind of keep an eye. But as far as anything to get excited about, it doesn't seem like that's going to be the case. Some more showers over towards Milton. They've already moved through up towards Jay and down through the Escambia River there, Century, and then you're getting close there to those showers crossing 90. The heavier rainfall will pass between Crestview and Milton right there along State 10. So for this evening, we'll kind of keep a mix of clouds, partly to mostly cloudy skies, a little bit of patchy fog. Possible, but I don't think it's going to be a big deal tonight. And lows will be into the mid-50s as opposed to the upper 50s. And you'll see that with our winds. Still an onshore wind near the coastline, but if you pay attention to the top part of the screen, you'll see those winds will begin to turn a little bit more out of the north across our area. And that is going to end up leading to that cooler air mass as we head on into tomorrow. So when I say cooler, briefly cooler air mass. And you see now, as early as Thursday night, notice the winds get a little kind of wishy-washy here. Fairly light and variable winds. They pick up out of the northeast, but notice on Friday, east wind, and then eventually later Friday, southeast wind. And that's that moisture. Remember, Dan showed you the sea breeze, and we talked about the moisture returning for the weekend. That's what's going to be happening. So this is all very quick. There's a lot of just a little tiny nuance to it. It's not going to be significant. But you see these low temperatures cross the I-10 corridor tonight, low to mid-50s as opposed to mid to upper 50s. We're still upper 50s along the coastline. School bus forecast tomorrow morning, 54 to start this day, and then we'll see temperatures climbing up into the low 70s as we head into the afternoon. So a light jacket to start, dress in layers for sure. It'll be pretty comfortable, but instead of 75, 76, 77, 78, or 80, notice the highs tomorrow will be in that 70 to 75 degree range, I think, for most of Northwest Florida. Friday morning, that full brunt of the drier air is here, and so we see 40s inland, 50s along the coastline, but obviously nothing close to freezing or anything that you need to worry too much about. So we go neighborhood by neighborhood from Munson and Parkerville, Baghdad, and down through Navarre, mid to upper 40s. Now this is Friday morning, not tomorrow morning, Friday morning. As we move through Bay County and Walton County, we'll be right around 50 along the coastline, mid 40s as you make your way inland, mid 40s inland, low to mid 50s expected down along the coastline through the Forgotten Coast. Tallahassee 47, Hosford 45. You see, and this is the temperature and feels like temperature, so they're not any different because the winds will be very light on Friday morning, and we'll just keep mid 40s pretty much all along the I-10 corridor as we head into your Friday. Now, Friday afternoon, temperatures rebound a teeny bit up into the low to mid 70s, and then we'll be right around 70 along the immediate coastline. Now, to talk more about the warm weather, is there a break from the warm weather and the rainfall that moves in this weekend? We'll go to meteorologist Dan Nyman.
Let's see. I'm not sure anybody's hoping for a break from the warm weather. It certainly is just getting started for us here, although come June, you might be feeling a different way after the way things have gone for us here across the Panhandle in recent weeks. Spotty rain chances, we showed you those. They've been mainly up through the Wiregrass region of Alabama, but there certainly is that influence of moisture south of the front. You felt the humidity out there today, and there's an opportunity for a few of those showers to continue to slide south in through Holmes and Jackson County especially, and then of course we have a few moving southward through the western Panhandle as well. Big ridge of high pressure setting up to the west, so even with that front passing through, it's not going to take a long time for us to respond from the briefly cooler temperatures, 4 or 5 degrees at tops, to once again a warming trend-ish into the weekend. Rain chances trend upwards as well, but not significantly. You'll see Saturday just a few popcorn cells possible, about a 10% coverage across the Panhandle. Then Sunday, that's basically the day where at least everybody has an opportunity to get a good serving of rainfall. Half an inch, 3/4 of an inch, 1 inch, almost a guarantee right now, and a good chance for a few spots to see well in excess of that, which is of course much needed. Cloud coverage finally starting to return after briefly less for Friday. You see high pressure moves east of us, which opens up the Gulf with that return of moisture. Likely by Sunday or Saturday night here, you see at least a few light showers starting to take advantage of that moisture and become apparent across parts of Georgia and Alabama, even here in the Panhandle as well. It's not until Sunday morning, though, before a front sliding through to the south of a low pressure system rides along the northern Gulf Coast. That's your source of lift. There's also some good wind shear above us here in the atmosphere during this time frame too, to stir up a line of showers and thunderstorms out ahead of the front and move that eastward across the Panhandle. The question is, with this system, how much instability do we have? You know, the return of actual thunderstorm potential in the Panhandle. I don't know that everybody's going to see those, but you saw at least a good organ of heavy rainfall. Even if you don't get the thunder, you'll get a good soaking of rainfall. And we'll have to watch closely, perhaps through the western Panhandle and further down towards the coast for maybe a stronger storm. But it looks unlikely right now, and we'll hope to keep it that way. Rainfall totals, though, over the next 7 days, you see a good axis of heavy rainfall through parts of Arkansas, Oklahoma, into southern Missouri. For us, still looking good. 1.5 inches, perhaps 1.75 inches, and I think a few spots where the bands of rain are heaviest, you could get 2 or more inches of rainfall. Cross your fingers for that. We, of course, all need it here in the Panhandle. Things have been pretty consistent in this department, and we're looking pretty good for Sunday to see that sort of mid to late morning time frame for the onset of rain, and it should last throughout a decent chunk of the midday, early afternoon hours as that band slides eastward along the front. So we'll do this weekend's forecast with a good day for outdoor activities on Saturday. Nice onshore wind out of the east-southeast with a mix of sun and clouds. Sunday's your rain day. We'll see if we can get some of the morning events in before the arrival of rain, but there certainly will be a good chunk of rainfall out there, as evident by the rainfall totals. Temperatures continue through the mid-70s on both of those days. This rain all coming with a decent disturbance in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. You see that trough slowly swinging its way eastward across the country. That nudges through the front for Sunday, but already behind it, you see a ridge of high pressure taking shape. So as we get through Monday and Tuesday and in towards the middle of next week, we're still looking at a warmer trend in temperatures, certainly above average temperatures here all the way through the mid part of the week, with a trough bottled up on the west coast, the trough that brought the front moving up towards the northeast. We're sat in the Goldilocks zone with more warm weather on the way for the first half of next week. You see that all across the northern Gulf Coast. I mentioned a lot of events happening this weekend. We have the farmers market, for example, on Saturday. Temperatures look great. We have a few clouds through the morning. Things clear out as the day moves onwards, at least the mid to early part of the afternoon. Looking pretty good for that. Valentine's Day, of course, we're going to get up to about 70 degrees, a few clouds returning closer towards sunset, but any evening dinner plans as you're in those 3-hour waits, if you don't have a reservation for the restaurant, you should be feeling pretty good outside. And then the Seaside Marathon for Sunday morning. I think Chris had talked about the last few nights that this is a decent chunk of time to take place, Chris, maybe a few hours worth of time out there between the check-in process and the actual race itself. The earlier window, I think, could be a better opportunity. You'll have to hope for the rain to hold off a bit, but certainly there will be rain nearby at some point during this event taking place. Look at the trend in temperatures over the next 6 to 10 days. We're still in that high probability, the high confidence in the forecast of above average temperatures. This basically as confident as we could be looking at this time frame out. You see that deep shade of red, which is above a 70% probability of seeing warm temperatures through the 17th to the 21st. And that, of course, brings us to a 7-day forecast that is a welcome sight in the temperature department. Coastal spots, maybe not feeling the warm weather as much. The Gulf water temperatures still have to come up a decent amount, but we'll still get into the upper 60s to near 70 over the course of the next 7 days. Lows through the 40s and 50s. Inland areas, though, I've got mid-70s all the way through Sunday. Briefly cooler Monday, but we're back to the mid-70s by Wednesday. And then, of course, Sunday is really the only game in town as far as meaningful rainfall is concerned. Sure, there could be a couple of spots that see a popcorn sale 15 minutes on one of the other days, Saturday, or as we get in towards next week. But ultimately, it is Sunday that's going to be our best opportunity to see showers and thunderstorms in the Panhandle. And Chris, we definitely need it.
Yeah, and those are tears, not raindrops. No football this Sunday.
Well, we got NASCAR Sunday, hopefully.
Well, yes, that's true. Steve was asking in the chat about Monday, and I think it clears out pretty quickly Monday, and it should be a very comfortable day, maybe a little bit cooler, but Monday's looking like a pretty decent day across our area in the wake of the front.
The main thing I'd see with that is like clouds kind of on the back of the front. If you look at like the precipitable water on the American and Euro models, there is like a little moisture that wraps all the way around the low and comes in behind the front. So clouds, but probably fine. You should be feeling a little better as far as humidity is concerned, which is going to be nice when you're in the low 70s.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And there's one thing I wanted to show you. Talking about that Seaside race on Sunday, which was as we come out here. So it's fine, and then Saturday night, there's a few isolated showers possible, but then the question will be, like during setup, or the setup kind of occurs like late and early. You know, there could be a shower around, nothing I would worry about, but then also, you know, do we see any showers that develop during the race, you know, out in front of the main line? Because it's looking more and more likely that the main line is going to be slow to come in, meaning that like the main line will, the race will be over, we'll give out awards maybe, and it still won't be raining. But do you get any prefrontal showers that develop? Not expecting severe weather, but like, you know, are there any showers that either are raining on you during the race or during setup or whatever?
The positive there is it looks like it's kind of a discomfort rain. It's not like race-ending rain. Anything out in front of the front, which sounds terrible. It'll be something worth watching for sure. But like, it really is kind of just over that boundary where you have any of the winds needed for these to become like mature thunderstorms. So it's going to be a pretty short fuse for anything that we have to watch for Sunday.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good about that.
Oh, I know the other thing. I forgot about the kids.
You did.
Well, I did.
I was looking at it there off to the side.
Well, I kind of wanted to talk about the Seaside race first, and then, but I was like, well, that's back, and I have to, anyway. So these are the kids I spoke to today. So in addition to what Dan and I did with the sales call, the hospital, Dan had to run some errands. I went and spoke to the kids at Cedar Grove Elementary. I do that every year. These are second graders. And they were super, super nice. We had a great time. There was no air conditioning in the library, but luckily it wasn't that bad. It was fine, but it was had a great time, and we talked about the water cycle. You know, it was cool to see how we could draw the connection between low pressure and rain, and how clouds form, but we had a good time today, and thanks for your hospitality over there at Cedar Grove Elementary. Worked out, and then I went back over to the hospital to check on the camera installation, which went pretty well. And maybe by tomorrow, Dan and I will be able to be trusted to control it.
I know. I'm like dying. I've been clicking at it throughout the show. Like, will it work yet? Tomorrow, too, I'll be in Marianna bright and early. We're not leaving Jackson County out of the camera fun. We'll have a great beauty shot out over the trees south of 71, and we could turn that to, I think, east and west as well. We'll be setting that up, fingers crossed, although we'll see. There's a lot more work that has to be done there, so maybe not going to be live by the 6 o'clock show tomorrow, but it'll be great to have at some point here as we get into the weekend and track some rainfall. We can physically track it with our eyes. I just can't. I'm so excited about adding these cameras to what we're doing.
Yeah, it's important, and you know, people ask like, oh, well, you use the cameras at Beach TV, and the Beach TV cameras are great, and we love having them down along the water, but there's a certain component of I do need to have cameras that we can control, that we can pan, tilt, zoom, because I don't own those cameras, I don't control those cameras, so I kind of need cameras to that I can kind of move around, so that way, you know, if there is a storm or something like that, that we have that ability. And then also too, like our cameras have weather sensors associated with them. So, and you can see, let's see, if you look there on the side of the screen, you can see there's all the weather data from the camera. So right now it's 60 degrees there at Ascension Sacred Heart, looking down, right down towards the bay. It's a pretty cool shot. I'm super excited about it. But we got more.
Yep, and we can finish off the show tonight with a look at the camera. I put it in as the outro, so thanks for stopping by here tonight. Kevin's here, Steve. We had John asking as well about the rain, and we got John covered at least for Sunday. Things are looking good outside of Sunday for outdoor activities. We'll be back again tomorrow night with the latest on that rain chance, and then, of course, just enjoying the sunshine, too.
Piece of land demands the very best